Now, what I'd like to suggest, you're not going to get only one car in your lifetime, but you're going to get one body and one mind, and that's all you're going to get. And that body and mind feels terrific now, but it has to last you a lifetime.
Imagine standing at a crossroads, looking back at your time in school. Did you ever feel like you didn't quite fit in? Like you were trying to do something that didn't just match who you were? Maybe your interests and questions were met with silence, as you were just supposed to do what everyone else was doing. Imagine being told that your restless energy was a problem instead of a good thing. Picture a moment when a teacher told you that your choices were to keep struggling in place or to be brave and try something different. Jump ahead a few years. What if you did really well in your early 20s, even though people thought you wouldn't? But even with all your success, did you realize that having a lot of money doesn't always mean that you know where you're going or that you're happy? Going from school to being really successful can be confusing. You have to figure out what to do when you're not sure. That's the reason for this video, to assist you in achieving a smoother and more successful journey. Its intention is to help you making the journey quicker while minimizing mistakes.
Or as Charlie has just discussed when addressing foundations, would you hunt for 2 more great companies to invest in via common stocks?
Charlie, why don't you take a swing at that?
Well, of course you're hunting. That's part of the fun of life.
Step 1. Research before you invest. Warren Buffett, a very smart money expert, gives us some super useful advice about getting rich. He says, "I will tell you how to become rich. Close the doors. Be fearful when others are greedy. Be greedy when others are fearful." This means that we should be careful when everyone else is excited about making money and be excited when others are scared. Buffett's trick is based on thinking differently and being patient. He doesn't just jump into investing money. He studies companies really well before giving them his money. He looks at how they work, their money stuff, and their future plans. This shows how serious and organized he is about investing. Only if he really understands and sees the value, he will invest. Buffett likes companies that are easy to understand. He once said that he likes businesses that even a person who isn't super smart can run. This is because he believes simple companies are more likely to do well, even if not so smart people are in charge. What's amazing is that Buffett doesn't keep his secrets to himself. He shares his ideas with everyone. He tells us to do our homework, study hard, and really know about the companies we invest in. He's not like other rich people who hide their tricks. In today's changing money world, Buffett's advice is like a flashlight for those who want to make money wisely.
Very little difference after a moderate level. I tell this to college students that I talk to. I mean, they are basically living about the same life I'm living. We eat the same foods. I mean, that I can guarantee you. And there's no important difference in our dress. There's no important difference at all in the car we drive.
Step 2. 8% spending. When it comes to handling money, many people believe that if they make more money, they should spend more too. But the truth is actually quite different. The key to having a consistently good life is to be smart about how you use the money you've invested. This is what we call your investment portfolio. Think of it like this. Your investment portfolio is like a special garden where you grow your money. On average, this garden usually grows about 8 to 10% each year. You don't have to take money out of this garden. You simply need to spend money in a way that matches this growth percentage. Let's break it down further with an example. Imagine you have invested $500,000 in your garden. This means that you can spend around 10% of that amount each year, which is $50,000. This allows you to enjoy the fruits of your garden without worrying too much about running out of money. Of course, getting to this point requires you to make good financial choices along the way. But once you've reached this stage, it's like taking care of a tree. Every dollar you earn is like a seed you plant in your garden. The more seeds you plant, the bigger your garden grows, and the more money it produces.
My personal opinion is if you take unleveraged returns against unleveraged common stocks. I do not think what is being purchased today and marketed today would work well. But if you can borrow money, if you can buy assets that will yield 7 or 8%, and you can borrow enough money at
Step 3. Use good debt. You might have heard that being in debt is always bad, but that's not always true. Let me explain. If you're thinking about buying a few houses to rent out and make money, you don't have to save up a ton of money first. Warren Buffett once advised, never count on making a good sale. Have a purchase price be so attractive that even a mediocre sale gives good results. Instead of waiting, you can use a special kind of loan to your advantage. Imagine you find a house in a great spot, but it needs fixing up. Let's say it's worth $150,000, but because it's not in the best shape, you can buy it for $100,000. You spend $50,000 to make it nice, and now it's worth $200,000. After fixing it, you can borrow 75% of its new value, which is $150,000. With this money, you can buy another house or fix up another one. It's kind of like playing a real-life game where you're growing your money smartly. But here's the catch. You need something called a good credit score. It's like a special number that shows how trustworthy you are with money. To start building this number, you can get a credit card and use it carefully. Just pay off what you spend each month. This helps you show that you can be trusted to pay back loans. I know it might seem strange that you need to use loans to show you're reliable, but that's how the money world works. So instead of being scared of debt, try to learn how it can help you. Using it the right way might open doors to making even more money in the future.
If you were going to start a business today, what kind of company or what industry would you look to get into?
I'd do the same thing I've done. I mean,
Can everyone do what you do, though? I mean, do you think that?
I'm cut out for managing money. You know, it doesn't mean, you know, different people have different kinds of minds.
Step 4. Create equity. This is the real key to building massive wealth. Let's talk about how to become really rich. Imagine the story of Sarah and Mike. They'll help us understand this better. Once Sarah earned as much as she could, she put the extra money she had into the stock market every month. She hoped that this would make her a millionaire someday. Now Mike, he was a bit different. He also made the most money he could and invested in stocks, but he had another plan too. Mike saw that there was something missing in the market, so he used his special skills to start his own car wash company called Sparkle Wash. He worked hard on it, trying different ways to clean cars and make it really attractive. He even built a great website and used social media to get more customers. Sarah, however, didn't think Mike's idea would work. She thought that it would take too much effort and not give much in return, so she stuck to her plan of putting money in the stock market every month. As time went on, Sparkle Wash started to get really popular. Meanwhile, Sarah's investments in the stock market were growing, but slowly. Investing in stocks is like owning a tiny piece of something that someone else made. But Mike took a different path. He used his time and money to build his own business. And guess what? That way, he made much more money. The lesson here is to do both things together. By investing wisely and creating your own business, you might just become very wealthy.
But the advice I would give is to read everything in sight, you know, and to start very young. It's a huge advantage in almost any field to start young. And if that's where your interest lies, and you start young and you read a lot,
Step 5. Focus on what you love. Let me tell you the story of Henry and Ethan. They both lived in California and decided to take up coding as a new skill. Henry searched for the most challenging coding projects every day. He didn't bother with the simpler ones. Some days, if he couldn't find any complex projects, he just went home. On the other hand, Ethan went out every day and worked on as many coding tasks as he could, whether they were big or small. He simply enjoyed the process of coding and improved his coding skills. One day, Henry and Ethan were working on a coding project when a huge challenge started to emerge. Ethan was just excited to put his coding skills to the test and thought of it like any other challenge. They both began coding. Ethan expertly tackled the coding challenge, and he looked back expecting to see Henry making progress, but he wasn't there. Henry had encountered difficulties almost as soon as they had started. All he could do is watch as Ethan successfully completed the coding challenge. In Henry's mind, Ethan had just gotten lucky. But the truth was that Ethan had put in all the practice and learned something from every coding task that he had ever undertaken. This is how most people approach improving their skills. They spend too long searching for the one thing that will make them exceptionally skilled, all while ignoring the day-to-day things that they can be doing to enhance their abilities. Step 6. Set money for growth. You always need to go for a more disciplined approach. Never depend on a single income. Make an investment to create a second source. These wise words by Warren Buffett emphasize the importance of a disciplined mindset when it comes to managing your finances. Many people tend to leave investing as one of the final steps in their financial journey, which is a big reason why they struggle to succeed. Instead of making it a priority, they treat it as an afterthought. Let's break down 3 types of people: wasters, warriors, and winners, often referred to as the 3 W's. Wasters are those who spend all the money they earn without saving or investing. They claim that money doesn't lead to happiness, yet they use up those earnings to try to improve their lives. Warriors, on the other hand, hoard their money, much like squirrels storing acorns for the winter. Winners, the opposite of both wasters and warriors, comprehend the value of money and its potential for growth through smart investing. The alternative method of making money is by trading time, a choice that many would rather avoid. To illustrate, consider this scenario. If you worked hard for a year, saved $10,000, but spent it all on home improvements, you'd need to work another year to regain that sum. Conversely, with proper investment, that $10,000 could potentially yield $100,000. After covering your desired renovations and expenses, you'd still have $90,000 left for further investments.
I don't have to make money in every game. I mean, I don't know what cocoa beans are going to do. There are all kinds of things I don't know about. And that may be too bad, but, why should I know all about them? I haven't worked that hard on them.
Step 7. Resist trends. In the world of investing, we often hear about popular and trendy stocks like Facebook, Apple, Snapchat, and Twitter. These are the companies that catch the attention of many people, promising potential growth and quick profits. However, there is a legendary investor named Warren Buffett who has a different approach. Warren Buffett is known for his wise and successful investment strategies. He tends to avoid jumping on the bandwagon of these trendy stocks, except for Apple in recent times. Instead, he looked for something else, a proven track record. He believes in investing in companies that have shown their worth over time. As he famously said, it's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price.